To our top story now, the mass shooting at a high school in Florida. The FBI has confirmed it was warned about teenager Nicholas Cruz before he killed 17 people at his former school. Before committing the act, Cruz reportedly left a comment on a YouTube video last year stating, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter." Joining me now via Skype from Manchester is criminal psychologist Dr. David Holmes. Welcome to you. Good morning. The signs seemingly were there. Should this have been spotted? Should this mind have been identified as one that could go on to commit this sort of atrocity?
Well, you couldn't have it more blatantly advertised, really, that this was probably on the cards. Not only to kind of fellow school mates, to other people involved in his immediate proximity, but even somebody who has, got the presence of mind to report this to the authorities when they saw things that were not just untoward, but very, very indicative of some form of danger from one individual. What on earth were the authorities doing that they were too busy to investigate this?
So how do you go about identifying this type of mind that could go on to commit crimes such as this?
Unfortunately, this is so easy in retrospect when you piece together the aspects of their lives. But at the time, there are many individuals in society who have that potential but do not go on to commit such awful crimes. To actually find these signs and symptoms, you are looking fairly specifically at people who are loners, people who do not reality test their ideas, who are able to sort of keep to themselves, harbour grudges. There are often signs that they have a grudge against society, generally against people, and sometimes that becomes focused, as this did, on school friends. And you've also got, obviously, mental health signs that there may be, in this case, possibly a morbid depression, where this kind of obsession and a kind of defeatist attitude towards themselves arises, or it could be in different forms. It could be someone who is slightly callous in their general nature, indifferent to other humans. It could be someone who is rather manic and determined to do something, who is fairly agitated. There are many ways and there are many routes to being someone who is dangerous. However, this chap actually did tick a lot of the boxes, and it was not as if this had gone unnoticed. This was very much noticed. The teachers, his friends, contacts, even perhaps some elements of family, although they deny it. But the authorities really have fallen down here terribly.
I mean, he couldn't have advertised his intent any louder, but from what you're saying, that isn't always a reliable indicator of someone struggling with mental health.
No, it's not. They don't go together. But basically, when you have that number of indicators, that number of statements, which we don't go around, saying that we have intent to kill, that we also advertise ourselves with weapons. These are indicators that have happened in the past. These have been present in other school shootings. It's not as if the authorities are totally naive here, particularly the FBI. They should have investigated this, absolutely. You cannot possibly have a situation where you're stuck in this Groundhog Day situation of over 100 deaths in school shootings, in half a dozen school shootings alone. This is a very, very heavy penalty to pay for not observing these people, for not picking up on signs. Individuals with this kind of profile are not that common. They really are quite rare and do need to be indicated. Sometimes they're hidden by families, by parents who think the child is just a little bit odd, but they will go work with it. But really, these things need to be made explicit to authorities far more than someone who is suffering in other ways because they're less of a danger to others.
Okay, Dr. David Holmes, thank you. And the FBI are looking into their handling of the investigations before that mass killing took place. Still to come, we have the sport.